What's up, everyone? Welcome to another Thursday night live stream. This is Jason, just Jason Keto. Hope you're all doing well tonight. It's Thursday night. We're back to doing a live stream with the ROKR Gearball Scramble build. I think this is part 5 that we're working on this week. So hopefully everyone can hear me. I've got everything set up to continue working on it. If someone can give me a thumbs up or down on the volume or the audio on the live stream, that would be appreciated. I hope you're all having a good week so far. It's Thursday night again. We did a live stream with Anita last week to talk about sardines. I hope you all enjoyed that. It was a fun conversation for sure. The whole sardine thing is pretty interesting for sure. You know, if you enjoy sardines, it's definitely a good sort of metabolic reset kind of challenge to do. And I do enjoy them. I just don't eat them very often. But speaking of sardines, I guess this next Tuesday, so the 3rd, I'll be live with Kendra from Consuming the Goodness. She's actually going to try sardines for the first time, so that'll be interesting. And she challenged me to try peanut butter and pickles, which, you know, I'm not too worried about. I'm sure it'll be fine. But yeah, so we'll be live Tuesday night, so that'll be good. Kendra and I have been live together quite a few times already, and it's always a good time. So see who was here early. You had Lynn, Low Carb Spins in the house. Good to see you. Michael's here. Scratch and Pete is here. Everyone's just saying hi to each other. I hope everyone's having a good week so far. I don't know, the winter just does not seem to want to give up around here. It just things keep melting, and then it snows again, and it gets cold and warms up, and then it's really kind of ridiculous. But I guess it's still February, so there's not really much we can complain about. Yeah, that will be fun. Poor girl. Yeah, you never know. Maybe she'll turn out to like them. It's one of those things where you just never know about certain foods until you actually try them. It's one of those, I think sardines are one of those things that there's a real sort of mental aspect to get over with them before you even know what they taste like, right? So, you know, stranger things have happened, you know, and I may hate peanut butter and pickles. So even though I like them both separate, I've never tried them together. So we shall see what happens. But yeah, that's Tuesday. And then tomorrow night, just as a reminder, at 8:00 p.m. Eastern, this week's Chaffle video will be released as a premiere. We are doing, if you didn't see the community post this week, I sort of changed up the name of the Wheel of Regret series and changed that to back to Will It Chaffle. We've done a few videos under that title kind of thing. So it'll be this week. We're doing Lynn, 22Q Cat. She suggested trying seaweed, and that's what the wheel picked in our last spin. So that's what we tried. So, you know, stay tuned for what how it turned out. We'll find out if it will indeed chaffle. So that'll be tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So hopefully you can all check that out. Last week's video was very well received. That was the all Parmesan chaffle, which really turned out nice. Was nice. Pleasantly surprised with the views that video got. I always like to see when a video actually gets some interest out there. I know everyone likes the chaffle videos, and I obviously will continue doing them, but I do have some other ideas that might turn out to be pretty interesting that aren't actually chaffle related. So can only eat sardines breaded with indigo Neely pork panko recipe. Yeah, that would be good too, for sure. Holly Springer's here. It's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. And there's Kendra. We were just talking about you, Kendra, and your journey to eating sardines on Tuesday. So, and I was just joking that, you never know. You might just like them, and it'll be something that you eat all the time afterwards. So it's just one of those things where you have to get over your fears, try it once. If you don't like them, well, then you never have to try them again. But if you do, well, then there's something else that you can enjoy. So it's good to see you all here tonight. I guess we might as well just start working on the build here. So, and I see Angela Smith's coming in. It's good to see Angela. So this is where we sort of left off last week. It's actually starting to build up. We got quite a few of the gears done, and then we've got some of the sides done as well. So the last week we ended up or ended our night on page 16 of the build manual here. So we're going to go over to page 17 over here, and the first couple of bits are just a couple of little pieces. So we need 2 E34s. So we've got the 2 A34s here in the middle. So tomorrow night, Angela, is just my weekly video premiere at 8 o'clock. So I live stream on Thursdays at 7:30. And then Fridays at 8 p.m. is when our weekly sort of recipe review video goes out. So this week we'll be making chaffles using seaweed as suggested by Lynn. So you'll just have to tune in tomorrow night and find out if how those turned out. Yeah, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I've been told that trying sardines will be rough since I don't really like fish. Yeah, I guess if you don't like fish, there's definitely a chance that you're not going to like sardines. But like I say, you never know. You will never know until you try them, right? So we've got our 2 E34 pieces here. And it looks like they just go down, I think. Yeah, so they just go into these little holes here. And then for that live stream next Tuesday, we're going to simulcast that on this channel and on Kendra's channel. So we can get lots more viewers that way. So that'll be fun. Kevin's driving and listening. Thanks for checking in, Kevin. I appreciate it. And there's Rick as well. Thanks for coming by, Rick. Okay, so this top section here is done. So we'll mark that off. Something about this is making me want to watch The Great Mouse Detective. I've heard of that. I'm not sure if I've ever seen it, but this is the kind of thing that reminds me of, I'm sure everyone probably played Mousetrap when they were kids. You know, half the fun was building the actual mousetrap. So, okay, so we'll start with our next assembly pieces. It looks like we're going to make a couple of pieces that are going to go right on. Try mackerel. Yep, mackerel's good too. It's not quite as bad as sardines for sure. I personally prefer mackerel. So yeah, I would definitely suggest that too. But for the sake of this live stream we're doing on Tuesday, someone gave Kendra a can of sardines, so she's going to give them a try. So I see Kristen's here. It's good to see you, Kristen. Thanks for coming in. So we need E25, so we need an E24, E25, and E27. So E24 is here. Let's pop that out of there. Yeah, the only reason she's eating them is because her dad gave her a can of them. So might as well, right, Kristen? Or not Kristen, Kendra. Sorry. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. E27 is right here. Come on out of there. And then we're going to need E28 as well. So we might as well pull that out of the frame. So I hope everyone's having an all right week so far. Like I say, it's Thursday night again. Weekend's almost here. Winter's holding on for dear life, just does not want to give it up, but we'll before we know it, we'll be complaining about how hot it is. So can't complain too much. I know last week there was a couple of days where driving was just crazy. You know, some of the worst driving that I've experienced all winter. So otherwise, it continued to be pushed off. Yeah, but we've been talking about sardines and peanut butter and pickles. Yeah. So yeah, that'll make for a very interesting live stream, Kendra, for sure. Lynn's saying she braved trying sardines. Next, I'll probably try mackerel. Yeah, I think you'll like mackerel. It's good flavor, and usually it's just. And I don't know what kind of sardines you got, Kendra, but I think one of the things people, you know, and I don't want to sort of freak you out or anything, but I think one of the things a lot of people worry about is the bones. But if that's something that you're worried about in the sardines, I wouldn't. That's the kind of thing that I was worried about when I first tried them, but you barely even notice them. So, okay, so we're building this little assembly here. I don't know where it's going to go, but we are going to put it together as per the instructions. And then we've got our E28 that this piece sits into. Pasha D is here. It's good to see you. Appreciate y'all coming out for another Thursday night live stream. You know, hopefully you're not all getting bored of this this little project that I'm working on. Again, I sort of wanted to do something like this so that it was a little bit more, just a little bit more interesting than just sitting here talking to the camera. Because ultimately I don't have a ton to talk about, but maybe this will inspire someone to actually try something like this. So there's that little assembly. So we'll set that aside. That's that section there. So we'll mark that off. Then we need E39 and E40. So that's these two here. I have boneless, skinless sardines and olive oil. Well, that's probably going to give you your best, your best. Whoop. That piece went flying. So we'll get our E40 out. That'll be your best chance, Kendra. That won't be a problem. Okay, so we'll just sand down the tabs on this. Lynn said, I wasn't worried about the bones, but the possible heads and tails. Yeah. There is definitely something about eating whole fish. Like I will be the first to admit, one of my sort of one thing I really have a problem trying is even like salmon in a can kind of thing. Because one time I remember having that and I wound up getting a bone in that and it really turned me off salmon for quite a while. So, okay, so this E40 piece looks like it just slides on here and it slides back. So you can see it slides back on these pieces. And then our E39 goes on top of it. Like so. What's Rick saying? I don't mind the tails, but I don't like my meal looking back. No doubt, eh? Okay, so that is step 4 is done. So we need E38. Where are we? Where's E38? Tell me where E38. There it is there. This looks like another nameplate section. If you're watching along and you don't know what we're doing, we're in week 5 of building this sort of pinball game kind of deal. So, because I know there might be someone here thinking, well, what the heck are we doing with this kind of thing? But the instruction booklet is 40 some odd pages or 60 some odd page. I can't remember how many, and we're on page 17 tonight. So, okay, so this piece here sort of clips in there like so to hold that stuff together, or the last pieces together, just like that. And then we need E29, which there's 2 of, so we'll just pop one of those out. Sand off our little piece there. And then that just fits down in this little slot here. I just need some tweezers for some of these pieces here. Just gonna get my little press tool here. See if I can get that to fit down in there. There we go. Just like that. A little piece started to break off the front there, but that's fine. It's not, that's just a little pin that's going to hold stuff in place, I think. So that's sort of that assembly complete. As you can see that was sort of step 5 over here. So on to page 18. So that's what that looks like there. So this assembly here looks like it goes. Where do we go here? Looks like it just goes in here. I don't know if this is supposed to slide, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our wax here. So anything that's supposed to slide or surface that things slide on, we need to wax those surfaces. So we'll wax that in there. And then we'll put some wax on the bottom of this as well. Johnny Small Pepper, good to see you. Yeah, you should, Kendra. This would be a good sort of project for the kids for sure. It's like it doesn't seem, it's not super complicated, so I'm sure kids could handle making this no problem. So that goes in there, and then on the bottom we snap in E26, which is this piece here. It's all manual, this unit. There's no batteries or anything. It's sort of like a pinball. And then like it's all, there's these bumpers on the side here where you can crank all of the gears. So, but yeah, it's manual, no batteries required. So on this side, here's the pins that we just pushed through. So we're gonna put this retainer on here, hopefully, like that. And like that. So that's all the way in. So this piece, I'm not sure what it's going to wind up doing ultimately, but it may need to be adjusted at some point, I think. Okay, yeah. We'll just pull that out of there. I'm just going to use my little piece of sandpaper here and sand up these little channels here because I think it's a little bit tight. Yeah. Okay, well, we'll just leave like that for now. Okay, so that's this section of page 18 done. So now we need which piece is F23? I'm not sure we've taken anything from F yet. A couple of things maybe. So here's the F panel. So we need F23, which is this big unit here. So set that aside. And then we need G12. So that is this one here. So pop that out of there. So that's two pieces that we need. And then these two pieces are going to get put together, I think. So it's two pieces here that are going to get mounted together with some E45 mounting pieces, I think. E45? Yeah, E45. Where's E45? This is the E. Okay, so E45 is down here. We need 8 of those. So we're going to try and pop those out. So there's 3 of those. I think these little pieces are sort of the hardest part of the whole thing. That's for sure. So there's 8 of those. We'll set the 9th one aside. So try and split these apart a little bit if we can. Yeah, this could be, it does sound like bingo for sure. Just see if I can find a tool in my little multi-tool here that can help split these pieces apart without sort of causing an injury. Okay. So these little tabs here are supposed to fit into these holes here. We shall see if that's actually the case. Again, we're going to grab our press tool here. Yeah, those Parmesan chaffles were pretty good, Kendra. It's definitely a nice chaffle for, you know, things like burger buns and sandwich bread, and it would be a good base for like a pizza chaffle too. Like if you just added some marinara sauce to it, some cheese and pepperoni on top, that would be a good chaffle to try that with. Yeah, garlic powder and parsley would be good too, for sure. Actually, the one place that I buy some of the dash units that I have, or like the appliance I have, the like we have a sort of a Costco liquidator near us, and Costco sells Dash products here. So every once in a while they get a bunch of the Dash appliances to liquidate. So that's sort of where I've gotten my Dash multi-makers, the last couple of those at a cheap price. So I stopped in there today and they had some of the 4 chaffle waffle irons. It happens to be the Disney version of it. So it's got like Mickey and Minnie and Donald and Daffy, I think. But whatever. It's still a unit that makes four waffles at a time. So that'd be pretty cool. Probably not something I will review. It's nothing new kind of thing. So, but it'll be nice, especially when my wife needs to make waffles for the grandkids. It'll be easier than making one at a time or two at a time. So yeah, their Costco liquidator, they get a lot of cool stuff. You still have to sort of pay attention to the pricing because it's not always, cheaper, but okay. So we've got this, got our little pegs installed there. There's 8 of those. Now it does show that it looks like it's actually supposed to be waxed. I don't know. Maybe we'll just do this side here. That's where it's showing. It's not going to hurt anything if it doesn't need to be waxed. So we'll just do that and then move that out of the way, and then we'll put this piece in place and just push them all the pins together like so. So that's together like that. So that is that step on this page. So the next thing we need to do is make a couple of other pieces here. So we need E43 and E51. So we're still over on our E page here. So there's an E51 here and an E43, which is this little unit over here. Only needed 1, but I got 2. That's fine. So we've got 2 pieces there. And it does say to polish this surface here with sandpaper. So we'll go ahead and polish that piece. Just to get the rough edges off of it. It's nice that this wood is nice and soft. It doesn't take much to do the polishing. We'll get the little pieces off here too. And then with it facing that way, we put our E43 through like that. So that's that little assembly. That's all okay, we need to do 2 of those. We need to pay attention. So what was that, E51? So we do need that other E43 there. And our other E51. There's definitely a few things in this process that you want to sort of pay attention to. Like I just noticed that it says to make 2 of these assemblies. So just sand that off. That. Put our other piece through like that. So we've got those 2 built, and then we have a couple of little gear wheels we need to make as well. So E52. So 2 of those. We need to make 2 of these assemblies. Hey, Steph, how's it going? Good to see you. Yeah, the plan is to go to Kentucky, Kendra, for Ketopalooza. That won't be till October. You know, like I've bought the ticket and sort of booked a hotel room and all that. So that'll be in October. That's the plan anyways. You know, things change, unfortunately, but hopefully that's what actually happens. So we need 2 of these F1 spacers here. Two of those, and then we need 2 E50s. Just these 2 down here. And then we'll need 2 E54, which is these at the bottom. Yeah, that would be cool, Kendra. We can, like I say, I want to, if there is going to be a new Buc-ee's opened up there and off the highway, it would be definitely something I want to check out. That is quite the place for sure. But yeah, we can definitely maybe put something like that together. We can stop and have lunch or something. It depends on, usually, or in the past anyways. So what we wind up doing is, because we can drive to Louisville in same day kind of thing in one day. But it typically winds up being sort of lunchtime or late morning when we go through that part of Ohio. So we could definitely see if we can work something out for sure. So yeah, that's a good suggestion. So we've got our 52 here, and then we're going to put F1 on top of it. Press that in like that. And then we need our E50 to go on there as well, like that. And then we're putting our E54 right on top of that to lock everything in place like that. So we'll give all that some wax too. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that when we get a bit closer to it, Kendra. We can, like I say, I looked on the map and it looks like it's sort of right off the interstate where that Buc-ee's is going to be. So that would be quite handy for sure. Like I can't imagine that they would ever build a Buc-ee's that wasn't sort of right off of an interstate, but you never know. Like I went to, last time we were in Kentucky, we went to the new one that was actually in Kentucky, and it was brand new. So it was quite the experience. Okay, so we've got those 2 assemblies, and then we've got these 2 assemblies, and we've got this assembly. I'm assuming has something to do with this, so we'll just check off this section here. Speaking of Ketopalooza, there's my Ketopalooza pen from the last time we were there. Okay, so I was right. So these pieces all go together kind of thing. So we need one of these goes up through here, kind of thing. And then one of these assemblies goes down through here. Just want to make sure we're getting this all clipped together properly. You can see these pieces slide up and down like that, but they're all locked together. So other one through this side here, like so. And then this gear on top. I just got to try and get it to all fit together. There we go. So that snapped together, and that one slides up and down as well. So that is that done. So the next part of this, we're going to bring our main frame back in. And this piece will mount onto, there's a few mounting spots here. So just want to make sure we've got things set up right here, kind of thing. I think this is definitely where it gets interesting, trying to get all these pieces to fit together for sure. That's that side. Come over onto this side here. Sorry if you can't see what's going on here. I'm just trying to get all these tabs to fit into where they're supposed to go so that we're so you can see these buttons sort of push on the other pieces we had already. So never been to Buc-ee's, but the first Arizona Buc-ee's is scheduled to open June. Nice. Yeah. Yeah, they're definitely, they are expanding. That is for sure. Okay. So we have that piece on there. So we'll check that off. So a couple of things we need to do here. So from our bag of goodies here. Hey, Dustin, how's it going? And then just need 2 of these little screws here. And they just, there's a couple of, it's like a couple of holes here that these screws just go in to hold this all in place. Find my screwdriver wherever I put it. This nice little 2-cent screwdriver kind of thing. Probably have about 20 screwdrivers that are better than this one, but we'll use what they gave us, I guess. Yeah, definitely can't over tighten those. There's not much that it bites into on that. It's just screwing into like a split piece of wood. So just screw them down until they start to tighten, and that's about it. That's just holding that in place. So all our gears are still moving. These pieces are moving. So screws are in place. We need E16 here. So E16, and we're going to need 17 as well. So we'll pull those both out. Make sure there's... So we need 16 on the left side here, and it just goes up through this slot on the bottom here. Like that, fills in that gap. Same over here. 17 goes in over on this side. Maybe like that. And we need 32 and 36. So that's these pieces here. Yeah, this unit is really finally starting to turn into something. The first couple of weeks were kind of, wasn't really looking like much, but it's definitely starting to come along, which is good for sure. So 36 just goes into this slot here. And these pieces aren't really functional or anything. They're just, you know, pieces that are filling in the sides. And then that piece slides in like that. Cool. So that's another page done. So yeah, we're definitely starting to get into something here. You can see all sorts of other pieces that we're starting to build here. So still got another 10 minutes to go. So we'll continue on for sure. So we need to start off with F2, which is this whole assembly here. I can get that to come out of there. If I can make sure I don't lose my sandpaper here. Yeah, me too. I want to see it. It's one of those things where I keep having to stop myself from working on it when we're not live streaming. I like to see it finished for sure. So, but we'll get there. You know, we'll do some other fun live streams at the same time, kind of thing. We're not going to do this sort of every week, but again, I kind of thought it would be a fun, different thing to do for a while. So we need an A31, which is, where's our A31s? What's this look like? It's got arrows on it. No. We lost our light. Oh, well. So these are A32s. This is the A31 here. I guess my little mini light doesn't want to work for a full hour. Oh, well. I think we can get away without it. Looks like it's bright enough, so. So I have our arrows facing up here. This guy will slide into these slots. Yeah, like I say, hopefully, I know it's not the most exciting thing to watch being done, but, hopefully everyone is sort of enjoying watching it more or less. So then we need 3 of these sections here. So we need 3 E47s, which are right here. Pop those out. There's little pieces that can break off of here. And we just always have to be cautious of things like arrows on pieces. Dr. John Smith is in the house. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by. Just here for a few more minutes. Working on the Gearball Scramble. So we've got 3 of these E46s. There's 3 of those, and then we need 3 more E43s. So there's 1. And then get a couple more from down here. So we need to watch our arrows here, and then we're going to put this square piece on top here. Like that. And it says to smooth this off. Yeah, it's one of these things that putting stuff together like this is definitely something you need some patience for, but it's also fairly something that's pretty relaxing. So I think it's this piece is going to go through like this. It's definitely a little bit weird doing it on live streams, I guess, but that's why we're here, kind of thing, just to do some fun stuff. And really a big part of what I do at work involves doing some fairly complicated stuff daily, and it's like a lot of stuff that requires sort of thinking about things logically and getting them to work the way I need them to, and putting things together and getting relays to work together and all that kind of stuff. So this kind of thing is one of those things that I can do without stressing out too much about, which is you don't want to get frustrated doing things like this. So put this third one together here. Used to have patience for this type of stuff, but not much anymore. In my late teens and early 20s, I used to love to build model ships and planes. Yep. Yeah, I built quite a few models when I was younger too. Things like that, like what I enjoy about this type of model is that it doesn't require sort of any gluing and stuff like that. I always found that was the one thing that kind of frustrated me. So, like with this model, you're basically just pressing things together. There's a couple of fasteners you have to put together and stuff like that, but for the most part, it's just pieces that snap together, and there's no glue or anything. So okay, so there's those 3 little pieces, and they just apparently just snap in to these slots here. So there's 1, 2, and then 3 here. So there's that piece there. There's just little steps, as you can see, kind of thing. So that's that section done. So now we need a A32, which is these guys here. Now these ones, that's not what it's supposed to do. So hopefully that may cause an issue. It was supposed to just pop out in one piece. So, because these pieces are sort of partially cut through, so you can see they bend easily, kind of thing. So that there, I don't know if that's going to cause a huge issue. We may have to I'm not sure if we need to. We may only need one of them. Maybe that's why they give us 2, so that when you break one, you have another one. So we just have to follow the arrows here. So our first tab will go in hit down here, like so. Hopefully we can bend that around without breaking this one too. Put that in there. So as you can see, that's just a little cover that's going over there. I like that work figuring out what was wrong with something and finding solutions, especially if it was electrical. Yeah, and that's one of my things. Like that's what I do at work is, I'm most of what, I do like new installs, but one of the things I've always been pretty good at is troubleshooting things that aren't working properly and then trying to fix them. And like ultimately trying to get things to do what they're not supposed to do. That's always what I enjoy doing. So here's another flexible piece that starts over here. And the other tab goes over here. And that piece broke too. So I don't know if we're going to be able to. Get that in there. Yeah, you can see it split right there. So there is 2 of them. I just don't know. Let's pull that out of there. Grab the other one for now. So you worked on vehicles. Yeah, that can definitely be something that takes some patience and knowledge and everything else to get to figure out what's going on with electrical and vehicles, for sure. Well, these pieces are not cooperating. They're going to have to go in the way they're going to go in, I guess. That one just broke too. This is the kind of thing that's going to be really difficult to not break kind of thing. So work is a 4-letter word. Yeah, unfortunately, it's a necessary 4-letter word at the moment, but all we can do is maybe hope that someday this YouTube thing turns into something that can get rid of that for me. Not holding my breath, but we just keep digging away with it, at it week after week. So we need our F3 here. Plus, ultimately, maybe 80% of what I do for work, I do enjoy doing. It's not all. There's a lot of manual labor with my job that I'm getting too old for and I don't really have any need for anymore. But the technical side of things, I do enjoy some or most days. So this piece is going to go on here, apparently. Got about 20 pins we got to line up here. So give me a sec to try and get these all together. Like that. Yeah, I keep hearing about these people like Think Media and all these YouTube gurus saying that small YouTube channels can make a living, but I have definitely yet to see it. But, it is what it is. Like I say, it's one of those things where I didn't start this to replace my job. So, all we can do is what we can do. So there's that assembly put together. As you can see, it's some sort of ramp. So we'll check that off. We are at an hour and a half, but I'm just wondering how much is left to do here. So why don't we sort of knock that off there today? It's starting to, there's quite a few other little pieces that need to be done in this page. So what we'll do is we'll knock it off there for this week, and we'll sort of come back probably next week to do some more of this build. It's still going to be a few more weeks to get it finished, and we won't work on it every week, but we'll work on getting this finished as soon as we can, kind of thing. And then, like I was saying earlier, next Tuesday, Kendra from Consume the Goodness and myself will be live streaming on each of our channels, both of our channels. That'll be a fun live stream for sure. And then tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, we're premiering Will It Chaffle episode 2, I guess, with Lynn, her suggestion of seaweed chaffles. So that's tomorrow's premiere. So hopefully you can join me for that. Again, that'll be at 8 p.m. Eastern, right after Tuber Chat. So looking forward to that coming out, and you know, whatever else we can come up with for next week. I've got some pretty interesting ideas in mind that aren't chaffles, but we'll see how they turn out for sure. So thanks for joining me tonight. Again, I know this isn't super exciting, but I just like hanging out, chatting with you guys, and putting this crazy thing together. Hopefully it turns out to be fun when it's done. You know, I'm pretty, like, I've heard these they turn out pretty well. You know, it'd be the worst thing would be if it turns out to be really lame when it's finished. But so far so good. We've only had those couple of pieces break, but the way they are, I'm not surprised. So if you survive Kendra's food challenge, we can continue next Thursday. Yep, for sure. Oh, I'm sure I'll survive. Peanut butter and pickles isn't too bad. I'm more worried about Kendra, but I'm sure she'll be fine too. So, okay. Well, yeah, join us tomorrow night for another video. And then Tuesday, I believe at 7:30, I think we're going to do 7, or do you want to do, let's do 7, Kendra, because I think you start at 7 usually on Tuesdays. So let's sort of start on your day and time. We decided to do it Tuesdays because the last couple of live streams we've done have been on my night. So we're going to do Kendra's Tuesday night live stream slot. So I believe she starts at 7. So I still need to set that up. I'll get that done tonight or tomorrow. So that's about it for tonight. Thanks for joining me. Have a great weekend. We'll see you tomorrow night, and then see you on Tuesday for a very, very interesting live stream with Kendra. So have a good night, everyone. Keep on thriving.